it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the manga and graphic novels that I've read this year. I want to do a video about all the things I've read this year because it's been a while since I updated everyone. But I've read over 100 books this year, with 68 of them being either graphic novels or manga. So I decided I would do this as a separate video, and I am doing a giveaway, so stay tuned till the end of the video to see how to enter that giveaway for a manga of your choice. First, we'll start with the graphic novels that I read. I finally read the second book in the Witch Boy trilogy. I don't want to tell you a lot about this specific volume because it picks right up where the last one left off. But the Witch Boy series follows Aster, who would like to be trained to be a witch instead of a shapeshifter, his friend Charlie, who has no magic, and a new friend that they meet in this book. So I really enjoyed the series. I don't know why it took me so long to get to the second one, but I'll be picking the third one up right away. Next we have Nothing Special, Volume 1, Through the Elder Woods by Katie Cook. And this is a webtoon series that follows a young girl named Callie, whose dad is very protective of her. She knows that their family does stuff with magic, but she doesn't know how she fits into that. All she knows is that her dad is super overprotective, but one day he goes missing and she doesn't know what to do. So she teams up with Declan, who has a secret of his own, and these little spirits of different vegetables, so particularly Radish, who is obsessed with Callie, and they also run into this figure that I won't tell you about. But this was such a cute story. I am not super into fantasy or adventure, but a lot of the actual fighting and different things happens off page, and the story itself is just very humorous, with Radish doing a lot of narration and kind of hopping into the story, trying to win Callie's heart. But it's just a super cute story, and I'm actually reading the second volume on NetGalley right now because I got an e-arc of that, and just really enjoying it. Then we have Anna, and this is a graphic novel that I was reading for Germany as part of my Reading Around the World challenge. I don't know that I will count this one because it has kind of this hyperbole, but it follows this girl who is very, very tall, and her whole family, like the women in her family, are all very tall and feel like they don't belong in society. So it's talking about societal expectations and judgment, and the artwork is really funky in this one, but it is an interesting read. I felt like I was left with a lot of questions because it ended sort of abruptly. But it is really good. Okay, now we're going to hop into the manga that I read. I'll start with the series where I only read 1 or 2 volumes, and then I will get into ones that I read a lot of this time. The first one is a new series called I Want to End This Love Game, and this reminds me a lot of Love is War, except that these two are childhood friends, and they have played a game since they were really young where they will say, like, I love you, oh, I'm obsessed with you, things like that, to try to get the other one to break. So kind of like that game where people are like, honey, if you love me, will you please smile? And you're supposed to not smile because then you lose. But the thing is, both of these characters have started to develop actual feelings for each other, but they don't know that. And so they're just going about their life, playing this game, trying to get the other one to break first, but they're both actually secretly obsessed with the other one. I did just pick up the second volume of this, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Just a lot of fun. And like I said, it reminds me of Love is War, which I actually read the first volume again this year as well. This is a series where I think I actually like the anime better than the manga. I read the first volume way back before I watched the show in the first place, but I just felt like it was a lot of text and the narration doesn't come through, isn't as funny as it is in the show, where it's kind of like voiced over the whole time. But the premise is that Kaguya and the president of the student council, again, both like each other, but neither of them wants to admit that they like the other one. And so they're always coming up with elaborate schemes to try to trick the other one. Like I said, definitely check out the show. It's very cute, and I will probably continue with the manga, but have a lot of other stuff I'm currently reading. Next, for single volumes, I read Yokohama Kadashi Kikyo, the fourth deluxe edition, and so that doesn't really count as one volume. But this series is still so cute. I think there's either 5 or 6 of these total, and it'll be the whole series. We are getting into more of a sad territory than we were with the first few, but this is following a robot or an android who is running a cafe, and Alpha is seeing what it's like to be human and experience these things. She has since run into other people who are also robots or not actually people, and they're just trying to find their way and their purpose. And the illustrations in this are just absolutely gorgeous. It also has color pages. Color pages throughout as well, and it's just a really cute. And another single volume that I read is Call of the Night. This is a series that I'm not sure if I'm going to continue or not. I went through a vampire phase, as I think all people who grew up during the Twilight era did, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling the vampires now. But it follows a young boy who cannot sleep, and so he goes out at night, and when he's out at night he meets this girl who's kind of showing him the way of the world, and it turns out she's a vampire. He would like to be turned into a vampire because he already feels like an outcast, but she says they would actually need to fall in love for that to happen. This is also an anime if you want to check that out first. Another one volume that I read is my Dress Up Darling Volume 11. This series is continuing to be just so cute, but because I'm all caught up, I only get to read 1 or 2 a year, and we are still waiting on Marin and Gojo as a will they won't they become a couple, but Marin Kitagawa is a cosplayer, where she wants to be when the series starts out, but she's terrible at sewing and she doesn't really know anything about cosplay. She just really wants to embody her characters that she likes. And then Wakana Gojo works for his grandfather making Hina dolls, and he is obsessed with how beautiful and like the art behind them, and so he feels like he's an outcast, and the two of them come together to create cosplays for Kitagawa, and they have started to form a whole group of friends by now, and so this is just a continuation of that story. Another one volume that I read was Glitch. I do need to get the second volume in this series, but it follows siblings, Minato and Akira, who have moved to a new town, and Akira is faced with these strange things that she can see, and then Minato, they are also experiencing weird things, phenomena that they can't explain, and it seems like the people in the town either don't notice them or have just gotten so used to them, but this is sort of a mystery, so I don't want to spoil anything, but more is happening than what is at the surface. I read the second Boki the Rock. This series follows a young girl named Boki who has a social anxiety disorder and just can't make friends. But she gets really good at guitar because she's convinced that if she's really good at guitar, then she'll be able to start a band. And if she starts a band, then she'll be really cool and have lots of friends. And in the first one, she does start a band with people, but that has not fixed all of her problems. She is still very insecure and very anxious around people, but she is starting to come out of her shell. We're also starting to get to know the other people in the Kosaku band, and just their friendship developing. I did just pick up the third one and I'm excited to get into that. But just a really cute slice of life band series. Another first volume that I read is Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, which follows Uno Hanako, who just feels like she's so inadequate. She's never fallen in love. She doesn't know if love is right for her, but she's super into fashion and making herself look pretty and being social, but she's not sure that that's what she really wants out of life. She just feels like that's what people expect her to do, and she feels really, really like she's falling apart, like she can't hold it together, like this is not what she actually wants. And she meets Sato Asahi, who seems very confident and well put together, but also is looking for her place in the world, and their friendship develops, and it's just a very, very cute starting romance book. There are only 4 volumes in the series, so I'll definitely be picking up the other 3. I read the second Yona of the Dawn. This is a series that I am enjoying, but I'm just really hesitant because it is so long. I really like series that have a finite number either completed or on their way to being completed, and this series is just a little bit overwhelming to me. But Yona has started to have some character growth, is growing up a little bit in this volume, and it is one that I'll probably slowly plug away in at time. I have been keeping up with Oshinoko, and I just read the 5th volume and bought the 6th volume. We are now following Aqua and Ruby as they're sort of out in the world pursuing their goals. We still have the underlying mystery of what happened to Ai and who their father is, but this is a very interesting reincarnation story that really is more of an exploration of the idol and film industry in Japan, and again, I don't want to spoil anything with any of these series that I'm further along in, but it's just really cute and I'm enjoying it a lot. Another 1 volume that I read is Dark Gathering Volume 3. My husband is reading this series. It is a paranormal story that follows Kiroro and his friends, and they are kind of off on explorations, each for their own reasons, into the supernatural. This is a very dark series, but a lot of fun if you like paranormal stories. Another single volume that I read is not this one. I read the 5th one of my special one, but it is in storage right now, and I'm excited to read the 6th one. This is such a cute, wholesome romance. It looks like this volume is going to be following the actress Amika and her love for Kaneto, but the regular story follows Kuta, who's part of Like Legend, and Sahoka, who has vowed to never fall in love. She hopes all hot guys lose all their hair and get fat and ugly because she was scorned by her childhood crush. But this is just a really, really cute series that gives you little butterflies as you're reading it. Another one that I only read the first volume of is this one here. I don't remember the name of it, but it follows a young boy and his childhood friend, and he is like very depressed because his family has died, and she's always been there for him. So they're very close, but her older brother is getting very jealous and doesn't want them hanging out together. And it turns out that her family is a family of spies, and he is forced to marry her in order to protect her as head of the family. And it's just a really interesting series that I'm going to read more of digitally, like arranged marriage, forced marriage, and spies. So super cool. On the same note of spies, I read Spy Family 11. We get more of a look into the kids at Eden Academy and a terrorist organization that is threatening their way of life, and that's all I'll say, because again, I don't want to ruin anything, but definitely check out Spy Family if you haven't. It has a little bit of everything that you could look for in a manga. I read the first volume, Sakura Saku, which follows a young girl, Saku, who falls ill on a train. A boy named Ryosuke helps her, but she's never able to say thank you. She writes a letter, but she doesn't have his address or anything. And then when she's in high school, she thinks she's finally found him. I haven't read any more of the series, so I don't know what's going to happen there, but it seems like it might be another really cute series. I also read the first Akane Banashi. This follows a young girl who wants to be a storyteller like her father. This one, the art was absolutely gorgeous. The story I just couldn't really get into. I feel like it's something that's a really cool manga, and I might revisit it in the future, but I was just having trouble getting into kind of the technical stuff behind the craft. I read the second volume of I Want to Be a Wall, which follows a young married couple who are married because she is asexual and he is gay but doesn't want to let his best friend know that he loves him, and so they're kind of a front couple for each other to fit societal expectations, but they also have a really deep connection, and I felt like this did an excellent job of both exploring asexuality and just looking at how platonic friendships can develop. Moving on to ones that I have read 2 volumes of, I read the second and third Witch Watch, which follows Nico, who is a witch and not a very smart one. She's a very talented witch, but she is also very clumsy and gets in her own way, and she has her protector. Now she has 2 protectors, but they're kind of like fighting over her love triangle, and now there is another witch who has also entered the scene who is also vying for attention. I read 28 and 29 of Komi Can't Communicate. This series is still really cute. I do feel like we're getting to a point where there is more filler in the volumes than there was before, but Komi now has another rival for Tadano's affection, and I believe she's on like 70 friends or something like that. So she's getting close to her goal of having 100 friends. The Komi Can't Communicate series follows Komi, who has anxiety when it comes to social situations, and everyone thinks it's because she's just too popular and beautiful, but it's actually because she literally cannot speak to people, and Tadano, who has come alongside her and is helping her make 100 friends. I also read volumes 1 and 2 of Skip and Loafer. This is a cute shoujo manga that follows Mitsumi, who has moved from a rural town to the big city to go to school because she would like to be in the government and make her town a better place. And she is kind of becoming infatuated with Shimakam and just starting to make new friends. This is just a really cute slice of life romance. I read Dan to Dan 6 and 7. This series is probably one of the only like action-y dark series that I'm reading, but I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. We have Okuran, who is obsessed or believes in aliens, and we have Momo, who believes in evil spirits. They send each other on kind of like a mission to prove that they are the one that is correct. Turns out both exist, and now we have a huge cast of characters who are all being kind of stalked by all these supernatural, paranormal things. And yeah, again, I don't want to ruin anything. This is going to be getting an anime adaptation soon, and it's just a really fun series. Another 2-volume is Marriage Toxin, which follows Hikaru Kiro, who is like the head of the poison family. He is a poison assassin, and he needs to find someone to help him create an heir to the poison family. He wants to do this not because he's interested in romance, but because his sister is in a committed sapphic relationship, and she threatens to kill herself if she needs to get married and have children in the old-fashioned way. And so he teams up with Mei Kinosaki, who is a marriage swindler, and to have her help him find someone to further the poison line. It's a very fun, interesting story. Then I read Insomniacs After School, volumes 4 and 5. This is such a cute series that follows Nakami and Asaki, who are joining the astronomy club. We ended up joining the astronomy club because they both can't sleep at night, and they go and take a nap in the observatory, and then they're told that if they're going to spend time up there, they need to restart the club. And it's just a really cute story between their friendship and just gorgeous illustrations of the night sky, which is a very cute series. I also read Nisakoi. This follows a boy who made a promise to a girl when he was younger that they would fall in love, that they'd be soulmates, that they'd always remember each other, and he carries a like lock around his neck. And he has a crush on this girl at school, but he figures that couldn't possibly be the girl that he made the promise to. He doesn't seem to remember, which is a little bit weird. And then his family is also part of the Yakuza, and he is just kind of stuck in that life, but is a hopeless romantic. And then a new girl comes into school, and she has also made a promise to a childhood friend that they will love each other forever, and she is head of a rival mob, and so they have to pretend to date to keep the peace between the two factions, even though they actually are both interested in other people. And this is a cute one that I'm reading on the apps. For 3 volumes, I read Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie, volumes 2, 3, and 4. And this follows Shikamori, who is a girlfriend to Azumi. Azumi is super klutzy. He's always getting into trouble. She has to protect him. And everyone thinks she's so cute, but she's also really tough for him. This series I have mixed feelings on. I didn't really like the first volume, loved the second volume, didn't really like the third volume, loved the fourth volume, so I'm trying to see if this is a series I'm going to continue with or not. But it's just little snapshots of them being super sweet to each other, and then kind of growing alongside each other and finding their identities. Another 3 volumes that I read is the complete series Your Name, and I have never seen the movie, and I'm going to need to watch the movie, but it follows our 2 main characters, Sua, who is growing up in a small town far away from everything, and Taki, a high school boy from Tokyo. And what happens is they keep switching bodies. There's really no rhyme or reason to when it happens, but sometimes they'll go to sleep and they'll wake up as the other person. And with all of that happening, there's an overarching story of fate and heroism and yeah, I just feel like I need to watch the movie because the movie came out first. And although the art is gorgeous, I feel like I'm just missing something. So I will let you know what I think after I've watched the movie. But it still was a very interesting series. I read the first one, it felt a little slow. Read 2 and 3 in one day because I needed to know what happened. But yeah, I just feel like the movie might fill in some of the. And then I have 4 series where I read a whole lot of them this year so far. And one of those is Psalm 100. Psalm 100 follows Kira, who has been working a soul-sucking corporate job for 3 years and is actually happy when the zombie apocalypse happens because he starts a bucket list of all the things he wants to do before becoming a zombie. This series too has like kind of lulls and high points. I again started to lag kind of in the 9, 10, 11, but then 12, 13, 14 I read all again in one sitting because I needed to know what happens. They now have a whole band of people with him all trying to accomplish things both for fulfillment for themselves but also for the world as they try to look for a cure to the zombie apocalypse. I read 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for Horimiya, which again, like the show is so cute, so I really wanted to read the manga. I don't feel like now that they've put out the like second season, there's just a little like vignettes of things. I don't feel like these really have anything too new. I do feel like it's a little less vignette-y or disjointed as the show can be at points. But it follows a young girl, Hori, and this guy, Miyamura, and their friend group as they navigate love and life and friendship in the last couple of years of school. But just a really cute, wholesome shoujo series. I cruised through Imakoi I'm in Love. I had only read volume 1 previously. Now I am finished volume 9. This is another really cute series where we have 2 couples that we're following, Satomi and Yagua. And Satomi is sweet, innocent, kind of quiet, cute but shy, and he is like very standoffish and cool, collected, don't know what he's thinking. And then he has his friend Noda, who seems apathetic, and she has her friend Mira, who is like the ultimate, everyone loves her, cute girl, very charismatic, social, and it's just the 2 couples' relationships. They navigate the end of high school and early adult life. And it's just very cute series. Alright, the last 2 series that I read a bunch of are Witch Hat Atelier, which I am still enjoying this series immensely. I read volumes 8 through 11. The art in this is absolutely gorgeous. We follow Coco, who has always been obsessed with magic but doesn't think she can be a witch because she thinks you have to be born a witch. And then a whole cast of other characters, both magical and non-magical. We are getting more into the politics of things, and so I'm interested to see where this series goes. But the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. They do an amazing job with the panels and having things both be within panels and out of them. Just a series that you should definitely be checking out. And then the last one is My Love Mix-Up, and I honestly am so sad because I just found out that this series is already finished at 9 volumes and I've read 6 of them. So now I need to slow down because I'm not ready for it to end. But it follows Akoi, who's obsessed with this girl named Hashimoto. But she has an eraser with Ida's name on it, and so he is convinced that it's always going to be unrequited. But when Akoi borrows her eraser and Ida uses it or finds it, he thinks that Akoi is obsessed with him, has a crush on him, and that is the love mix-up. It also turns out that Hashimoto might not have had a crush on Ida at all. And so we have a love triangle briefly that turns into two separate relationships and a bunch of cute friendships. And this series is just kind of over the top cute. Like we have all these ridiculous scenarios that are way over the top. And as far as like a spice level, like at the most we're holding hands and stuff. Like it's a really cute series, and one that you should check out. And if you are scared of commitment, again, it's only 9 volumes, very much like Imakoi is, and those are both very attainable series. But there you have it. Those are the manga and graphic novels that I've read so far this year. Let me know if you're reading any of these series, and let me know if you want any spoiler-filled reviews of any of the series, because I just feel like I can't say much about them without ruining anything. But since you waited all the way to the end of the video, I am doing a giveaway. If I get to 150 subscribers, and you comment on this video and are following me, then you will be entered in to win a manga of your choice. I will also be doing a giveaway over on Instagram and TikTok of some graphic novels that I've read and reviewed and enjoyed in the past, but some have 2 copies of, either because of gifts or whatever, but I will be giving those away over on Instagram and TikTok. But to enter this giveaway for a manga of your choice, you're going to subscribe to this channel, you're going to like this video, and comment below the manga that you would like a copy of. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune in for part 2, where I talk about all the books I have read this year so far that are not manga. But I'll see you in the next video.